Well, they will try to do it again tomorrow as we welcome you to Phillies Postgame Live, presented by Cure Auto Insurance, along with Ricky Pitalico and Ruben Amaro Jr. I'm Michael Barkham. Ben Davis coming up. Rarely have I been so pumped for an outcome and to see it fail so miserably. And tomorrow with Zack Wheeler on the mound, we hope the Phillies will be able to clinch the division against the Mets. We were talking after pregame, gentlemen. I remember in 1986 when the Mets came here and they were looking to clinch the division and the Phillies said, see ya. And let's hope that does not happen tomorrow.
I'm sure the talk in the Mets clubhouse right now is not on our turf. I mean, that's probably what they're thinking right now. They have to believe that they're not winning the NL East, but they're probably, seriously, it's like a chant in that clubhouse right now. Not on our turf, not on our turf. Don't let them beat us here. And they're thinking the same thing about tomorrow night. I know it's Zack Wheeler on the mound. But, I mean, anything could happen, as we know.
Mm-hmm. Ruben, your thoughts on this game where the Phillies had a shot until Orion Kerkering unfortunately gave up 3 runs?
Yeah, it's like really the first time that he struggled, especially over like the last month or month and a half. He's been outstanding. But really, it's the first time you saw the bullpen give some free passes. I mean, they have not walked a whole lot of guys. They've thrown strikes, and today was not that day for them. I totally believe in this bullpen. They've thrown the ball extremely well. Today they did not, and the Phillies couldn't come up with the big base hits they needed to win this ball game. But I was encouraged by Suarez. He threw better. He wasn't lights out. But he threw well enough to keep the team in the game. Gave up the 2 home runs, but he's got to be sharper with his command. Not as many strikes as he should, but it was encouraging for him to pitch the way he did.
Another difference for the Mets in their favor is starter Sean Manaea. Let's check in with Ben Davis at Citi Field. Called today's game with Tom McCarthy. Ben, you mentioned it during the game, the 2-seamer, and how infrequently Manaea had thrown it before, and now what he did today, a lot different. How much did that contribute to the Phillies' woes?
Well, it's obviously they weren't catching up to it. It was only 92, 93, but it was getting on these hitters in a hurry. And going into the game, it was 43%. And then you look back at the numbers after the game, it's 67%. That's not just a slight tick up. That is a major difference. And I think, Michael, you get in these game plans, you always game plan before the game. And obviously you go with what's working that night. Maybe the game plan wasn't to throw that many sinkers, but it was working so effectively early on in the ball game that they just stuck with it. It happens from time to time. Just because it says, X, Y, or Z on your game plan doesn't mean that's how it's going to end up during the game. It depends on what the pitcher has that day. Today he had a good sinker, and he was throwing it by guys.
You know what, Ben? Early on in the ball game, you kind of noticed the Phillies were trying to jump early on Manaea, first pitch, second pitch. Was that because of the shadows? Did you notice the shadows there were that bad?
The shadows were tough. I'd say in the first 3 innings they were tough, but after that they really were pretty much non-existent. But yeah, I think that's just their game plan. They know he's going to be filling up the strike zone. Listen, this is a guy that has pitched extremely well all season, and he's been really good in the second half. Opponents hitting just 200 off of him overall, and he's been very dominant. Right, he's hitting just 191 off him going into today, and he had his way with them. They were able to hit a couple long balls out. Obviously, Schwarber leading off the game, and then Nick Castellanos with his solo shot. But other than that, he was really dominant today and just filling that strike zone up. But I would say the shadows had it. You saw Bryce Harper's first at bat. He was struggling to see the baseball. I think it affected him maybe the first couple innings, but after that, it wasn't a factor.
Ben, this is one of the most resilient teams over the last 3 years of any ball club I've seen over the last several years. How is that clubhouse handling things right now, and are they prepared for tomorrow's baseball game?
Well, I think they're just going to go out and realize they have a big night here. They can go home, get a good meal, get to bed at a reasonable hour here in New York City, and be able to sleep in tomorrow with the night game. So they are very resilient, Ruben. You know that, and it's a very professional ball club. They'll be ready to rock and roll, and they definitely have the right man on the mound tomorrow night.
Ben, when you look at Ranger Suarez, he is a vastly different pitcher now from the April, May, beginning of June Ranger Suarez when he went to a 10-1 record with a 1.75 ERA. He's far from that now, but still and all, he did hold down the fort, did he not?
I was very encouraged what I saw out of Ranger today, and the velocity was there. Not that it's everything. but it does help. And that velocity was outstanding. It had good finish to it. It was getting through JT's mitt, not just getting to it. It was going through that mitt. The curveball was okay. I still would like to see the changeup be a little bit better. That the changeup percentage was way down today. He just doesn't seem like he has a feel since he's come back from the IL. It's a pitch, obviously, that's so devastating. When it's on, it's as good as anybody's. He needs to get that back, get that feel back, and once he does so. But I was very encouraged with what I saw. The only thing I didn't like, and I said during the broadcast, were the 3 walks to Pete Alonso. Other than that, I sign me up. I was all about Ranger today. The pitch count was a little high. I think he finished with 91 pitches through 5. But maybe finishing guys off a little bit quicker would be nice as well. But overall, the stuff was there today, and that's what I'm very, it was very enlightening to see today.
Ben, give us a look toward tomorrow, because the one encouraging thing, actually 2 encouraging things. One, Zack Wheeler's on the mound against his former team, pitching against Tyler McGill. But 2, the Phillies are 10-4 in games Zack Wheeler had started this season following a Phillies loss. That's something to hang your hat on, is it not?
Without a doubt. Man, you're full of stats tonight,
I'm
Michael
trying.
David.
Every once in a while.
He's full of a lot of things, Ben.
Valid point.
Don't
Ricky
make me
Paul.
laugh. Okay.
No, I mean, that is very promising for the Phillies, and the fact that, Zack Wheeler's, my opinion, the best pitcher in baseball. I love everything this guy does, the way he goes out and competes, the way he prepares, how he somehow has to change throughout the course of the game depending on what's working for him on a particular day. And he's going to be ready to rock and roll and nip this in the bud and get this the heck over with, because it's obviously a matter of time, but they got to do it. He's going up against his old mates, a mound he's very familiar with, and it'll be a night game, so he won't have to change up his routine really at all. So I'm looking forward to it, and obviously anytime he's pitching, you got to like your chances.
I'll tell you why they're going to win tomorrow. You're the good luck charm, Ben Davis, in the studio. Joining Ruben, Ricky, myself.
Look how happy he is.
Look
how happy he is.
The Irish.
Happy guy.
Look at the Irish.
Look at the Irish.
The champ is here.
Oh, the champ is here. All right. We'll see you tomorrow,
See you later,
buddy.
champ.
Thanks. So he's riding his
right,
bicycle down, by the way, from Queens.
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
Chasing October, presented by your local Tri-State Toyota dealers. Proud partners of the Philadelphia Phillies. NL East standings up to the minute. The Mets get a game closer. They are 6 games back. Phillies' magic number is still 1. By the way, why is it 1 and not 2? Because they have a tiebreak over the Mets. So all I need, 1 more. Best records in the National League. Phillies drop a half game back at the Dodgers, who will play later this evening. Phil's now 92-63. They are on pace for 96 wins, which is probably a little less than we thought they might be capable of.
I said 100.
Earl, you said 100, and I would be with you on that. It won't be that now with the remaining games left. So 1 more for tomorrow. But go ahead,
I just want to get this in on Ranger. I know Ben said he thought he threw the ball better and he had a little bit more velocity. But what I'm seeing is a little change in repertoire. And what I mean by that is, you hear me talking about Ranger throwing the ball inside to the right-handed hitters with his sinker. What I was seeing a lot in this game, especially early on, he wasn't controlling his fastballs. Not his 2-seamer, not his 4-seamer. So what he was doing was throwing that cutter in on the hands. So instead of throwing, 89, 90 with a fastball in there, he was kind of cutting the ball. So at about 87, 88 miles an hour. So I thought it was probably a pretty good move by him. I still don't, there's something different about him. There's something that maybe it's not as flashy, whatever I want to think it is. I still haven't pinpointed exactly what it is, but I will tell you this much. He battled through this. He gave up those 2 runs early, but he battled through after that.
All right, let's look at the bottom of the 7th. When it starts, tied at 2, Orion Kerkering comes in to pitch for the Phillies, and a walk and a hit batsman does not help you stay in the game, Ruben.
Now, one of the things that the bullpen has been doing extraordinarily well is not giving up free passes. Today, that was not the case. They had, all in all, 7 walks, but the bullpen just
hits Alonso.
They just did not throw enough strikes, and that hit batter, that's just not what Kerkering's been about. His command of his fastball has been really good. Today, he just didn't have it, and that happens sometimes. So hopefully he can bounce back tomorrow.
And it was a little shaky on both ends. I know that was a fastball he right there that he hit Alonso with, but his slider, he left a lot of sliders up in the zone today. And quite frankly, I think 3 runs, I think he may have been a little lucky.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been worse, but I mean, you know, you're in a situation where you're in a big game. You just got to kind of sit back, breathe, relax, and you know what? Pound your pitches into the catcher's mitt. Yep. I just thought he was definitely a little bit off today.
There's Alvarez doubles to center field.
That might have been one of the best pitches he threw all day.
It was a great pitch.
Alonso and Nimmo score.
Down and away, and you know, Alvarez is a pretty good player. That young man's a pretty darn good catcher. Good catch and throw, guys. Come up with some big base hits. Double and a home run today.
Yep. Phil's try to answer in the 8th, and leading it off is JT Realmuto, and he singles to center field right through the middle. Beautiful shot. And then Stott pinch hits for Edmundo Sosa. But Minaya is out. He tips the cap to the fans. That's all great. He certainly did a great job against the Phillies today. So Garrett's pitching now. Reed Garrett for the Mets. Stott singles to right. Realmuto goes to third.
Stott had the strangest of at-bats. Early on in that at-bat, he was swinging like he wanted to hit one 400 feet. And then he gets a 2-strike pitch that he just kind of, you know, dribbles to the right side for a base hit.
And
this was the at-bat that crushed him.
He pinch hits for Weston Wilson, and he pops out the shortstop. And I thought that really hurt the Phillies right there.
That was a big at-bat. He got a pitch down the middle, and he didn't quite get to it. Then Stevenson hits this ground ball on a forced play at second base.
Was that base running interference?
Yes, 100%. I said it right away, and Ruben looked at me like, what are you talking about? Then Ruben saw this replay. Look at him. You can't just keep running into the guy.
Yeah, they got sort of lucky there that they didn't call him back, but
didn't matter.
They did score a run.
That scores Realmuto, and you're thinking, even though the chances are dimming, they're 2 outs, Garrett leaves, and Edwin Diaz comes in to face Kyle Schwarber. Tying run at the plate, full count, and he watches that one.
That's pain. You know, you try watching it. It's 100 miles an hour. What are you going to do with it? The down and in pitch, he had just thrown him a slider in that exact location. So I don't know whether he was fooled by what pitch was coming or the area that he was coming in. But, I mean, that's paint. You know, you say, thanks a lot, I'm going to go home now.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive because he got behind in the count, and I thought he was going to get a pitch to hit. And he, you know, came back and made a couple of really good pitches. I was surprised, but he, you know, got to give him some credit. He made a heck of a pitch there on the 3-2 pitch.
Phillies, by the way, 0 for 2 RASP, which is obviously
that does nothing for you. They had nobody on base in the first, what, 6 innings?
Yeah. Yeah, Minaya was basically 1, 2, 3.
Well, he
got 12 or 13 guys straight guys.
Gave up the home run to Schwarber to start the game, and then he buckled down.
Yeah, his next hit was in the 5th inning, another home run. I mean, guy threw the ball well. I don't have anything against that. I'm just disappointed.
Let's go to Rob Thompson.
See you
hear what
guys
he
tomorrow.
has to say. I'm with you. Here's Rob Thompson.
Yeah, I mean, he's been so good for that. He's due for one of these today. So, a lot of pitches the last couple of days. So, give him a little time.
What did you think of Ranger today?
I thought he was a lot better. I thought the velocity shot up. I thought the changeup was really good. The 2 home runs, I mean, it was a cutter down the middle to the catcher, and just kind of a lazy get me over breaking ball that Acuna hit out. But they put some good at bats on. They put some good at bats on a lot of our guys. You know, we've had 20 walks in the 3 games. So that's you know, you can't have that. You know, so we gotta tackle a little bit better and get our pitches in the zone. But I thought Ranger was better. I was encouraged.
Conversely, what did you think of Minaya?
He's been very good for a while now. You know, he's lowered that slot. And, he's really throwing across his body now. It's deceptive. Changeup's really good too.
The double by Alvarez, do you think that might have been a catchable ball with a better kind of break, I guess, by Wilson or no?
I'd have to look at the tape.
Okay.
It's hard to see left field from where I'm standing down the hole.
Down.
You said in Milwaukee the other day that you guys were tweaking something with Ranger. Did you see the results of that today?
I did, just because of the stuff. Now, I don't know exactly mechanically if it's tweaked, but the stuff showed the result. There's, you know, so obviously something's better.
Rob, I know the guys want to obviously get this division title behind them. Do you sense that they had that excitement coming in today and thought maybe today would be the day, and that you expect the same thing tomorrow?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. These guys think they're going to win every day when they come in here. So, That's one of the good things about these guys.
Ranger threw 91 pitches in 5 innings. How much of that was just the Mets and their patience and their approach?
I think it was quite a bit. I don't think he was landing his curveball as much as he normally does. He was spiking a lot of them, but I thought he was better today.